Hi, welcome to Lightspeed Academy. I'm Jim Cooper, and thanks for joining me for this Lightspeed session on accessing query parameters with React Router. Query parameters are also called search parameters, and they are the portion of the URL that follows the question mark in the URL. Let's see how to access search parameters like this filter parameter on our Outpost page. To demonstrate this, I've made some changes to the product listing component on our Outpost page. Notice that we have buttons up here that we can use to filter our Outpost page. They don't do anything yet, but eventually we'll wire them up to change the query string parameters. If we look at our product listing component, you can see those buttons right here, and they're all calling this set filter function and passing in the appropriate filter. That set filter function doesn't do anything yet. We'll wire that up in a minute. Also notice that I've added this filter variable here, and we're using that down here where we're mapping over our products to display. So this filter expression will do nothing if the filter is not populated. Otherwise, it will filter for the products whose category matches the filter. If we look at our product data, you can see that they each have a category that we can filter against. And this filter is actually working already. If I type in something different for this filter, like defense, and then take a look at my website, you can see it's only showing those items. But what we want to do is to be able to set the filter with a query string, like this. To do that, back in our product listing component, we can use a React Router hook called useSearchParams. So I'll import useSearchParams from React Router DOM. And then useSearchParams works similarly to useState. So I can call it down here. And that returns an object that we can use to access the search params and a function that we can use to change the search params. So I'll deconstruct those like this. Okay, now I want to set this filter based on the filter search parameter. So I can do that with the search params object, which has a get function on it. So I can use that to get the filter search parameter or query parameter. Okay, so now we're setting the filter from the search parameters, and then we're using that filter down here to filter the products. So let's go check this out. So now if I type in transport here and hit enter, it loads the transport items. If I type in defense, then it loads the defense items. So that's working great. So that's how you access the search parameters. But now how do we set them? We want to set them when we click on each of these buttons. In our last video, we saw how to link to another page and pass a search parameter. But in this case, I want to remain on the same page, but change the search parameters whenever we click the buttons. So back in our product listing component, remember the on-click handlers for these buttons are already passing the appropriate filter string to the set filter function. So inside the set filter function, I just need to call our set search params function that we got from our use search params hook. And this function simply takes an object that represents the new search params. So I want to set the filter property, and I want to set that to this filter string that's being passed in to our function. But since these identifiers both have the same name, I can use this simple syntax provided by JavaScript. And that's it. We are now setting the search parameters whenever one of these buttons is clicked. So let's check that out. So I can click on transport and get the transport items, and I can click on weapons, defense, equipment, and all. Awesome. This is working great. That's really all there is to working with search parameters. Just be aware that when we call set search params like we're doing here, it will replace all of the search parameters with whatever you provide and remove all others. So if you have multiple search parameters, you need to include them in this object even if they haven't changed in order to avoid accidentally removing them. If you want to keep going, here is the next video on using route parameters with React Router. And here is the entire Lightspeed React playlist. And of course, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see the other content we're putting together. Thanks, and keep learning at Lightspeed.